Tonight, a huge night for Scotland in two national stadiums. Excitement is building in both sides of the Central Belt as the country braces itself for a night of music and football like no other. I'm in Edinburgh where the global phenomenon US singer-songwriter Taylor Swift is about to take to the stage at Murrayfield in front of fans who've been arriving for days.
I'm at the National Stadium in Glasgow where Scotland play their final match before heading to Germany and their first tournament on foreign soil in 26 years.
And Steve Clarke's team are hoping to get the perfect send-off with a win against Finland. I'll have all of the sport.
I'm Kellyanne Woodland at Murrayfields.
And I'm John Mackay at Hampden. This is the STV News at 6.
Good evening. It's a night like no other. Here in Edinburgh, it's absolutely mobbed as more than 200,000 Taylor Swift fans descend on the city over the next 3 nights. The global superstar is already here. You can probably hear the support act on stage just now. And this city is getting ready to shake it off in style. This is a huge night for Edinburgh.
And in Glasgow, we're braced for the big send-off for the Scotland team as they take to the pitch for the last time before they head for Germany and hopefully Euro's glory. We'll have all the latest.
But first, a look at the biggest music event to hit the capital. Here's our entertainment reporter, Laura Boyd.
I'm ready for it in the middle of the night.
Are you ready for it? Across this weekend, over 220,000 Swifties are set to descend on Murrayfield as pop icon Taylor Swift opens the UK leg of her Eras tour right here in Edinburgh.
We love you, Taylor!
Like, inspires girls everywhere.
We love you, Taylor!
She's just an incredible poet, an incredible writer, and just really understands how we're feeling.
I love Taylor Swift.
Yay!
While thousands of Scots get ready to shake it off in style, many have travelled from across the world to be here.
I'm from Sydney, Australia, and I'm here to see the Tortured Poets Department section of the Eras tour.
So we arrived like half an hour ago from Germany.
Tell me where you've come from today.
Philippines!
The Philippines. And why have you travelled so far?
Because we are certified Swifties!
Now, to complement Taylor's impressive array of Eras tour outfits, these Swifties have ensured they are bejewelled and ready to shimmer tonight.
I've hand bejewelled my little top and my pants as part of the music video. I have my VIP pass on, I have my little bedazzled glasses, and I have little butterflies in my hair.
So I saw Taylor Swift wearing this dress when she was out to dinner with Blake Lively, and I loved it immediately. And then I saw on TikTok that it was from a local Scottish company called Little Lies, and it just felt like I had to have it.
Travis, is it you?
It is, yes. No, unfortunately I couldn't get the number 87, so I am on this today.
Number 15.
I don't even know who it is.
This, fun fact, is my wedding dress, but I'm divorced, so it fits perfectly.
An iconic tour from one of the biggest artists in the world. This weekend is very much a love story from Scotland to Taylor. Laura Boyd, STV News.
Well, Laura is with me now, and Laura, you look gorgeous. You're all kitted out Swiftie style.
I am indeed, although I think I could do with a blanket. It is freezing, but listen, Scotland have turned out in style. The sequins, the sparkle, they've really gone for it tonight, haven't they?
They really have, just sparkles everywhere. Now, for the non-Swiftie fans, though, what's the big deal?
Oh, she is just one of the biggest artists in the world, one of the most successful. She reinvents herself all the time. If you love indie, if you love rock, pop, country, there's something for everyone. My 4-year-old loves her. John Mackay loves her. I mean, that's quite an age span there, so that tells you something.
Not that you're saying John's old or anything there, Laura.
Swift recovery, Kellyanne.
There's a bit of a love story, isn't there? A bit of a love story between Taylor Swift and Scotland. So do you think tonight we'll see bagpipes on stage?
Well, I think there might be something special planned. We know there's been bagpipes out and about. Taylor loves Scotland. Last time she was here, she said that her great-grandfather was Scottish. So I think we can claim her as our own. What do you think?
I think we do. I think absolutely we'll claim her as our own. Well, from the Eras Tour build-up to the Euros build-up, I'm going to hand you over to John, who's at Hampden, as the Scotland squad limber up for their final friendly before heading to Germany. John.
Well, Kellyanne, you've got the fabulous Taylor Swift. We've got footballer Greg Taylor. You've got over 220,000 fans over 3 days. We've got 220,000 fans going to Germany over 3 weeks. And our reporter Ollie Dickinson has been out and about meeting some of them as they prepare to give Steve Clarke's men a noisy send-off against Finland tonight.
Scotland fans are dreaming of Germany. More than 200,000 are expected to travel for the Euros, one way or another.
We are travelling from Inverness, first-class rail travel, the whole way to London, across to Brussels, and then Brussels to Nuremberg.
Fly obviously from Orkney down to Glasgow, and then from Glasgow out to Frankfurt, and then train from Frankfurt down to Munich.
We're flying out on Thursday, but we're going via Vienna. So we fly to Vienna, Vienna to Munich.
For some, it's a well-worn path.
I was there in '98, the last World Cup, with the last big exodus, and there's people now been able to bring their sons and grandchildren even now over to the big tournament, so everyone's just desperate to go.
For others, memories are just being made. Kids from Mount Florida Primary got up close and got to see their stars in action yesterday.
They were training and they were swinging their legs.
We went to Hampden to see the Scotland team train.
Yeah, it was very fun. I thought we were going to Lesser Hampden, but we're actually going to Big Hampden. Yeah, I was quite shocked. Yeah, it was good. They're good players. Definitely going to watch the Scotland-Finland game tonight.
And all the fans have got the same message.
Of course, it's not all been about partying today. The political parties have been out and about as campaigning continues in the general election. The Prime Minister has apologised after leaving D-Day commemorations early. Rishi Sunak said his decision was a mistake, but opposition parties have described it as shameful and accused him of putting politics before the national interest. Our political correspondent Ewan Petrie reports.
As world leaders stood side by side in Normandy, the Prime Minister was already on his way home. Instead, it was left to the Foreign Secretary to attend a major international ceremony to mark the sacrifice of Allied troops 80 years on from D-Day.
On reflection, that was a mistake and I apologise.
An apology welcomed by his colleagues.
I just think it was the wrong decision by the Prime Minister and he has apologised for that. He's not tried to defend it in any way. He said sorry and that's the right thing to do because it was wrong to leave early.
There we go, how about that?
The Prime Minister's plea not to politicise his decision was always likely to fall on deaf ears. The SNP leader says he paused campaigning to attend events.
He's the Prime Minister of the United Kingdom just now, and he should have been there to represent the international interests of the United Kingdom. And he came home to perpetuate a story which we now know to be absolutely baseless. That is not the hallmark of a Prime Minister.
The decision meant Rishi Sunak missed the chance to meet other leaders, including President Zelensky of Ukraine, unlike the Labour leader.
I think the actions of the Prime Minister were unacceptable, I think shameful, and he has put politics before national interest. But I think this is the hallmark of this Conservative Party, and that's why I think it's completely unacceptable.
This was a real moment in the campaign when actually, he had the opportunity to be an elder statesman on the stage with other world leaders, but he put his career and the election campaign first, and I don't think he should be forgiven for that.
This morning, the Alba Party launched their election campaign. Leader Alex Salmond attended the 70th anniversary of the D-Day landings when he was First Minister.
It's probably a unique opportunity for a politician to actually hear firsthand from somebody who's experienced history firsthand. If the Prime Minister doesn't understand that, then he understands nothing.
This was a spectacular own goal by the Prime Minister. His apology shows little sign of putting an end to questions over his judgment. Ewan Petrie, STV News.
Health officials are urging people to practice good food and personal hygiene as the number of E. coli cases across the UK rise. 13 cases in Scotland have been detected in recent weeks, most of which are in young adults, and half have been hospitalised. Hayley Bomber has more.
Experts believe this recent rise in cases can be linked back to a nationally distributed food item. But what specifically that food item is, well, they're not sure as of yet. Now, E. coli is a bacteria which exists in most people's guts and is mostly harmless. But it's this S-Tech strain which is causing concern and is behind this rise in cases. There have been 113 confirmed cases in the UK, 13 here in Scotland. Half of the people who've had it here have been hospitalised. This S-Tech strain can cause vomiting, diarrhea, fever and more serious complications.
The particular group of people that are affected tend to be the very young, so S-Tech will cause more serious disease in younger people. And if they go on to develop the serious type of disease which affects the kidneys, then yes, they will require intensive care support. So it can be a very serious infection and it can unfortunately lead to fatalities.
Health experts say people can help protect themselves against E. coli by practicing good hygiene, regular washing of hands and preparing and cooking food properly, particularly when it comes to barbecuing. Public Health Scotland say work is ongoing to identify the cause of these cases, which they warn could take some time.
Police are investigating the death of a patient at Scotland's biggest hospital. NHS Greater Glasgow and Clyde reported the death of a 74-year-old man at the Queen Elizabeth University Hospital last month to police. Officers confirmed inquiries are at an early stage. A man has been arrested after police seized cocaine with an estimated street value of £1.8 million at a property in Glasgow. Officers recovered almost 23 kilograms of the Class A drug during an intelligence-led operation on Wallacewell Road in Rob Royston. A 38-year-old man has been arrested. A man has been convicted of embezzling more than £1 million from a council. 59-year-old Michael Patterson pled guilty at the High Court in Edinburgh to embezzling the funds from Aberdeen City Council between 2006 and 2023. He's due to be sentenced at a later date. A Scottish woman claiming to be the basis for the stalker in the TV series Baby Reindeer is seeking at least £132 million in a lawsuit filed against Netflix. Fiona Harvey says the character, Martha Scott, is based on her. She has accused the streaming platform of spreading brutal lies. Years. Pop group the Bay City Rollers released their smash hit Shang-a-Lang, and to mark it, they're going to be releasing it again. This time, the proceeds going to the charity Cash for Kids. Caitlin Hutchison has more.
50 years ago, the Bay City Rollers released a song called Shang-a-Lang.
All these years later, it's been launched back into the charts and is as popular as ever.
If you think of the songs that we know, a classical song or a Glenn Miller song, how do we know those songs that's in the site? And Shang-a-Lang, I think that's one of them.
Shang-a-Lang is a Scottish anthem, and we realised that when we were walking the streets of Scotland. Everybody got involved, everybody was singing along, everybody knows the words.
We're having the best fun playing it. We always will, as long as we can. And 50 years from now, well, we'll see.
The new version and video is a celebration of Scotland playing in the Euros, and all the proceeds are going straight to charity.
It was a throwaway line from Woody. He basically said that this year, 2024, Shang-a-Lang turned 50, round about summer, and I went, just in time for the Euros.
Tartan Army got involved, and their voice is actually on the record as well.
We've got people like Rod Stewart, Susan Boyle, Gordon Strachan, John Mackay. I mean, he'll remember it from the first time out.
See, from those opening chords, people just seem to react to that instantly. Please go and download it. It's for a great cause, and we're trying to raise as much money as possible.
Having knocked Bon Jovi from the top spot on the iTunes rock chart, some are ready to keep rocking and rolling into the future.
You don't retire from this kind of thing. It's too much fun.
Others are ready for their bed.
This has been a busy process. I'm shang-a-langed it.
Caitlin Hutchison, STV News.
Well, we couldn't have a Scotland game at Hampden without Rahman, and here he is.
STV Sport, sponsored by the C.R. Smith Summer Sale.
Good evening. Steve Clarke says Finland will want to be party poopers when they take on Scotland here at Hampden tonight. Unlike the Scots, Finland aren't heading to the Euros. Well, Clarke's side go into tonight's match following their 2-0 win over Gibraltar in a friendly on Monday night.
Obviously a decent team. Some players that people would recognise. They'll come here like everybody else to be the party poopers. That's when you go there. That's your job. You come in there. You're playing against a team that's going to a major championship. You haven't made it. You want to show everybody that you should have been, or you're equally as good as the team that's going to the tournament. So we expect a tough night.
Well, we can expect to see a different starting 11 to the team which faced Gibraltar earlier in the week, a match in which Scotland didn't hit their top levels. And Steve Clarke has now finalised his squad for the Euros, cut from 28 players to 26 players, with Craig Gordon and John Souttar missing out on the tournament in Germany. Now to the latest in our series of reports looking back at Scotland playing at major tournaments. Tonight we're delving into the archives of the World Cup in France in 1998. Here's Chris Harvey.
First team out is Scotland.
As the millennium ticked down, the final World Cup of the century placed world champions Brazil against Craig Brown's boys. The team flew out to France with checked-on bags of confidence. Even the official World Cup song contained a pleading lyric, tinged with as much hope as experience of disappointment. Just don't come home too soon. Thousands upon thousands of Scotland fans travelled to France to cheer on Scotland. It began terribly. Scotland were behind after just 4 minutes. But this was a squad coursing with Braveheart belief. Christian Daly rose to meet a cross in the box, and Kevin Gallagher was bundled over for a penalty, which John Collins, with the eyes of the whole world watching, kept his cool to equalise. Could Scotland do it? Jim Leighton's point-blank save ricocheted off Tom Boyd for Brazil's winner, and another deep psychological scar handed out to the Tartan Army.
There's no denying that Brazil were the better team, but I think it was a game which we should not have lost.
All was not lost, as up next was Norway. Havard Flo ghosted in at the back post to give Norway the lead, but a sharp response saw Craig Burley level with a delightful lob. But despite a late flurry, it ended all square. The final group game was against unfancied Morocco. The Tartan Army arrived in Saint-Etienne en masse.
It's number 3 for Morocco.
A humiliating 3-0 defeat meant Scotland were indeed coming home too soon.
Here's hoping for better memories from this year's tournament. Well, it's a big night here for Scotland at Hampden, and it's a big weekend for Glasgow Warriors. They face Stormers in the quarterfinals of the United Rugby Championship at Scotstoun tomorrow night. Well, that's all the sport for me live from Hampden this evening, with 1 week to go before Scotland face Germany in our Euros opener. Steve Clarke certainly hoping his side get the perfect send-off. A win against Finland, and certainly get that.
STV Sport, sponsored by the C.R. Smith Summer Sale.
Well, it's been pretty windy here at Murrayfield, and to be fair, it has been a bit of a cruel summer. Hopefully Sean will shake it off in the forecast.
A spell of wows will gradually settle into a scattering of traditional tapas. TUI sponsors STV Weather.
Very good evening to you. Now, if you're heading off to any of the concerts over the next couple of nights, the weather looking pretty decent. There is the risk of a wee shower or two later on this evening, mind you. But it is going to stay on the cool side for all of us as we head into the weekend. Our air still coming from the Arctic, and that lasts through next week as well. Temperatures overnight down to about 6 or 7 degrees, but it will be quite showery for many of us. So still very showery into tomorrow morning, but it should get better in the afternoon, especially across central and southern parts. So I'm talking around Stirlingshire, across North Lanarkshire, Glasgow, into South Lanarkshire, across much of Ayrshire. We've got a showery start to the day, but those showers, they disappear in the afternoon. There should be a lot of dry weather with sunshine, but very showery still in the northwest. Now, temperatures 12, 13 degrees Celsius. If you can get shelter, though, from the breeze, given the strength of the sunshine at this time of year, it shouldn't feel too bad, but air temperatures still very, very disappointing. On Sunday, we'll see cloud and the risk of some rain coming into southern parts for a time, but then it should turn brighter again in the afternoon. So a showery start tomorrow, brighter in the afternoon, and then the risk of some drizzly rain for a time on Sunday. If you're thinking of heading up into the Munros, make sure you take your extra layer and your flask of tea with you. It's going to be a cold one, and even some snow flurries during Saturday and Sunday. But you can see, if you were hoping for the 20s to return, this is Glasgow and also in Glencoe. We're going to be waiting quite a while. We're still about 12 to 13 degrees most of next week.
TUI sponsors STV Weather.
Well, I am getting into the spirit of it all with a pink Stetson, and I've also just been given a friendship bracelet, so I'm pretty happy here at Murrayfield. Now, the next 40 minutes or so, Taylor Swift herself will be taking to the stage. It really is getting very exciting. And John, being a good Swiftie and a good colleague, I've made you your own friendship bracelet. BFF John, are you ready for it?
Does that make me the lucky one? At least it's not your hat. I'm glad about that. A great night ahead at Murrayfield, and of course tens of thousands of fans here at Hampden for Scotland's final game before the Euros. Good luck, everyone.
Good night.
Are you ready for it?
Everybody.